It was a brilliant idea really, and often looking back at this story I do wish we had gone for it. But, and it is a big but, I was only 2.5 years or so over a spectacular heart attack and really felt that the risk of not making it or something happening on that journey was unthinkable. Not just for me but for John, who had his own family responsibilities too. Well, here goes, and I hope you enjoy the story. Okay, we're going to begin this story called The Sierra COSWORTH Experience from 1987. It's taken from It's a Rum Life, Book 4, Volume 1, Northcote, 1984 to 1998. You know France well, Keith. Would you like to drive for me in the next Beaujolais Run? This question was put to me in late spring 1987. I was working with the Skegness News at the time and had spent the previous year as their staff photojournalist at Skegness. Driving was and still is my main lifelong passion. At home here in France today we have 6 older cars on the road, plus a 1980 BMW motorbike and an ancient camping car. From spring 85 to summer 86 I'd been a freelance photojournalist working for the Skegness Standard newspaper, producing a new midweek free paper called the Skegness Extra. The contract for this job finished when the owners of the Lincolnshire Standard newspapers sold out to a huge newspaper publishing concern from Kent. I lost my job, and it was the end of countless years of decent, local, well-respected journalism. I was then doing this stand-in photojournalist job for a year at the opposition newspaper in the town, the Skegness News. The previous photographer, Bob Lawrence, had had to go off ill with cancer. But after a year was up, he was bouncing back and celebrated by completing the Skegness to Boston 22-mile Seabank Marathon. Morton's, the publishers of Skegness News, heard that I had spent my formative years with the Lincolnshire Standard at Boston as an advertising space salesman and copywriter. So I was soon the number 2 ad salesman at the Skegness News. It was a thankless job, assisting the young ad manager who gave me all the rubbish jobs. But at least he had to take the flak when it was flying about from Horncastle head office. My many years of experience in marketing and publicity led to my being asked to help one of my ad clients with a mail shot leaflet for a new project in the town. John Kirk was one of the 2 brothers who ran the popular Kirk's Butchers in Skegness High Street. He was launching a new kebab site, not exactly a cafe, more a drop-in where folks bought something different, in the same way as fish and chips. The new shop was very close to the seafront at Skegness and in the middle of the existing shopping area, an excellent site. My job was to devise and organise a leaflet shot to include the whole town, but section by section. The steady drip idea was devised to build up the trade steadily. I designed a simple but effective leaflet, and we found a printer just up the coast towards Mablethorpe. It was the day we were going to the printers the first time when John asked me about the Beaujolais Run. We took a Sierra COSWORTH to the printers. The road up the east coast in Lincolnshire from Skegness is abysmal, truly. No straight bits longer than a few hundred yards, and corner after hairpin corner. There was not much traffic about on that first trip, and we timed each other. One driving going, the other driving coming back. If I remember, I won, and would have liked nothing better than driving with John through the French countryside for 4 days or so, as fast as we could go, with safety. However, and it was a big however, it was only 2.5 years after I had experienced a heart attack, and brought on by the delayed stress of losing our transport business in 1984. I really thought it inadvisable to take on something so stressful when I was still not really sure how stable the old ticker was from day to day. I believe John had second thoughts too, as he was married with a young family, and the event, to one of the premier wine areas of France and back again with the new wine was not without serious risk, although defined as not a race. The COSWORTH was some beast and a delight to drive. Certainly the fastest pair of wheels I had ever driven. We could really have had some fun with that car. But with my health record at the time, I could not be certain we would return in one piece, or even return at all. The leaflet campaign ran so well, John had to delay the second leaflet drop for several months. His shop was an immediate success. I moved on then after persuading my employers, Morton's of Horncastle, to start a weekly newspaper in the town of Spilsby, where I lived. There begins another story. As an add-on, it was John Kirk's father, then looking after the family farm, who sold me my first Fordson Major tractor for use in the new Northcote Heavy Horse Centre a couple of years later. He even allowed me easy terms on my £400 purchase. There we are, that's the end of that little story. Hope you found it amusing. Brought to you by Cracker Books, written and read by Keith Sanders. Now comes the advert bit. We've had to change the website address where you can find all Cracker Books publications. This is the new site. The address is here, richardsanders.hubside.fr. This is free to us, and the previous site we had to pay for, and of course costs add up, so we've changed it all. But there you'll find links to over 100 videos, over 200 audio stories and 10 complete books. They're all free to download onto any device you like, and there's hours of entertainment there. richardsanders.hubside.fr. And thank you for listening.